The March to Madness continues as the Wildcats take on the Wisconsin Badgers at the Honda Center in Anaheim. The winner goes to the Final Four in North Texas. Just saying that, Ryan Hansen, that feels kind of special. It gives you some chills.
When you're talking 40 minutes away from the Final Four, that's pretty exciting. And Arizona, albeit a historic March here would be the fifth Final Four. It does not get old, and it's been such a long time. It's been 13 years since Arizona went to the Final Four, so this is hallowed ground.
All right. It's not going to be easy. It's never easy for any team because not only do you have to beat a very good team, but it's the, I don't want to call it pressure, but there's just something that surrounds this game that you don't get anywhere. Even at the Final Four, I don't believe you feel the same intensity that you do in the Elite Eight game. And the players have to be able to block that out, right, and play their game.
Yeah, and we saw even yesterday in the game against San Diego State that the pressure does start to mount as close as you get to the Final Four. And there is almost a sigh of relief when you qualify to get to the Final Four because you've kind of arrived and you play a little looser. So who controls that in their mental edge? And I think Arizona has a special quality this year. This might be not only the most physically tough team Arizona's had in quite some time, it might be the most mentally tough team that we've had. And it really bore out yesterday with Nick Johnson fighting through an 0 for 10 start to rip off 15 points towards the end of the game. And Arizona is mentally tough, and they're going to need all of that tomorrow.
Well, they will. And the key matchup, and by the way, I like the matchups in this game on both sides. 3 guards, a forward, and a 7-footer in the middle. But those 2 7-footers are going to be in the spotlight. And Sean Miller's made it very clear that Frank Kaminsky is as talented as you can get as a 7-foot center because he's not necessarily a back-to-the-basket guy. So Caleb Tarczewski will have his hands full, and I might add Kaminsky will have his hands full too with Caleb. But the thing with Kaminsky is his ability to take you outside. He can handle the ball very well, and Arizona's defense has got to be at its best.
Well, and Kaminsky's not exactly just a one-trick pony. You could easily just say he's a stretch 5. He's just going to live along the three-point line. He does have back-to-the-basket moves, and he is a big, strong guy. So that's what makes him so special, and I think his versatility has made Wisconsin that much better this year, much like Arizona's versatility with Aaron Gordon and Rondé Hollis-Jefferson. So both teams have these hybrid-type players. Sam Decker's not exactly a traditional power forward either. So that front line matchup may be as fun to watch because you've got high basketball IQs, guys that can shoot the ball from the outside, and Kaminsky's going to have to deal with Caleb Tarczewski inside. So foul trouble like we saw yesterday could be an issue down the stretch for both teams.
All right, 2 other keys. Turnovers and fouls. You already mentioned that the Wildcats, neither team can afford to get into foul trouble. Arizona in particular on its front line with Aaron Gordon and Caleb Tarczewski. But Wisconsin just doesn't turn the ball over. Now, Arizona's not a team that goes out and necessarily tries to force turnovers. I think that is fine for the Wildcats, plays into their hand. But the Wildcats have to keep up this string they're on right now where they're not turning it over into double figures. And if they can do that, I think they're fine.
It's been a definite key for the Wildcats this year is to not turn it over, maximize your offensive execution on that side of the basketball floor. And you mentioned fouls, and yesterday we were on a tenuous moment there after Rondé Hollis-Jefferson fouled out. We were one more foul on Caleb Tarczewski from having to go to Matt Korchak, and all respect to what Matt brings, but I think the number of minutes he's played this year would not warrant Sean Miller feeling a lot of confidence in Matt Korchak down the stretch to go to the Final Four. So staying out of foul trouble will be key, but I feel like you said, the guard play for both of these teams is so solid. TJ McConnell, Trayvon Jackson, you look at what Nick Johnson brings as well. I would expect both teams to take very good care of the ball and this to be a low turnover affair on both sides. So it's going to be about taking and making tough shots, I think, tomorrow.
All right, should be fun. Wildcats and the Badgers. The winner goes to the Final Four. Tip-off scheduled for 5:49. You can listen on the radio starting at 4:30. Is brats or burritos? We'll find out tomorrow here in Anaheim.